Hi, everyone, and welcome into the Keys to the Crown presented by Crown Royal. I'm Daniel Sallerson. We're here to help you set your fantasy lineup for week number 8. And to help us with that, we welcome in Brendan Boylan, fantasy football analyst for Saints News Network on SI.com. Brendan, how are you? Good to have you on.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to discussing week 8.
Yeah, absolutely. We need all the help that we can get here for week number 8. And we'll start with some Saints wide receivers. Both Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders did not play last week in the win against the Carolina Panthers. We still don't know their status as of this Sunday against the Chicago Bears. But what do you do with both of them if you have them? Is there anyone that can step up in their presence with the Saints, or do you have any ideas of how you handle those two guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you always want to lean towards the side of caution. You never want to assume that these guys are going to play. Obviously, with Emmanuel Sanders, he could easily come off that COVID list as soon as today or tomorrow, but you don't want to make that assumption. And same with Michael Thomas and the hamstring injury. If you're looking to just replace him with a Saints wide receiver, look towards Tre'quan Smith. He's already shown his fantasy value. You look back at the game against the Lions. And, of course, Marquez Callaway had a really good outing this last week in week 7. He said he's good to go despite a little bit of a knock towards the end of that game.
Let's talk about some wide receivers. Another one, Odell Beckham Jr. Unfortunately for him, it was a tough injury for him. I know we're all devastated here in New Orleans and, of course, across the country. He is too with his torn ACL. For those fantasy owners that have him, what are your thoughts on anyone on the Browns wide receiver core that you can maybe pick up, or maybe someone on the waiver wire to help replace him?
Well, I'll give you two on the waiver wire that I really like. Cole Beasley's the first one, wide receiver with the Buffalo Bills. If you're in PPR leagues, he's been fantastic throughout the year. Failed to reach 10 points only once so far that season. That was in week 1. He's done great with the Bills this season, especially without them having John Brown. He's been on and off in terms of injuries thus far. And then Antonio Brown, a guy that Tampa Bay just picked up. There was also some news out of Bucs camp that Chris Godwin is going to miss a little bit of time with a finger injury. He had some surgery planned this week. And Mike Evans has been kind of week to week with a nagging ankle injury. So Antonio Brown could be thrusted in their lineup soon. And remember, when he's healthy, he's one of the best in football.
Give us some other waiver wire targets, for this week, whether it's a running back, wide receiver, quarterback. Who's out there that fantasy owners may be able to get?
Well, I really like Carlos Hyde with the Seattle Seahawks. He came in after Chris Carson got banged up last week, and Chris Carson's status for week 8 is now in question. So go pick up Carlos Hyde. He got a touchdown last week. I really like what he can do, especially in an offense that's been clicking on all cylinders so far this season. Also, Wayne Gallman's a guy to watch for similar reasons. He filled in for Devonta Freeman, who got injured for the Giants on Thursday night. He's a guy that can also sniff out the red zone. And for a team in the Giants that have really struggled throughout the season, both offensively and defensively, there's got to get some consistency going. I like Gallman as a guy that can do that.
That's Brendan Boylan, fantasy football analyst for Saints News Network and SI.com. And those are your keys to the crown, presented by Crown Royal.